I got a phone call one day from a mutual friend, and basically she was just calling me. She was like, "Hey, I need you to come down to the church. I want you to meet someone." So I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "I have to go home and shower quick, and I'll be down." As I'm going, I'm trying to think of some things to prepare to say to a child. I thought I was meeting a child that needed some direction in life and things like that.
I was at the church volunteering for youth night, and the mutual friend kind of talked to me about this other person, but wasn't really like telling me a whole lot about him. So I wasn't sure. I was just kind of surprised when he popped up.
So we get down to the church, and she's like, she said, "It's a young woman I want to introduce you to." And I said, "A young woman?" I said, "I don't think that's my area." I said, "I'm, pretty good with the young guys, giving them direction."
She wanted us to just be friends.
She wanted us to just be friends.
Because we just both got out of long distance relationships, and so she said that you can hang out and go out together.
And when we first met at Brightside, she walked out the kitchen and she tripped coming out of the door, and I kind of laughed a little bit, and then I looked and she had a T-shirt on, and
I was not prepared.
It was like spaghetti spilled or something. They were in the back cooking. They serve food for the youth after the night is over, and yeah. So she tripped and she had like all this stuff on her shirt, and I'm like, maybe I should run. Maybe I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but we actually just sat down and we started to talk, and we talked for about a good hour or so. I think the kids came and ate around us, and and I was just so focused on her and what she was saying, and just the interview is what hooked me the most. And we just it's kind of like the world stood still for that 30 minutes. So we started to hang out more and more. She finally introduced me to her daughter, and we went to the movies, where I think was our first date. And since that day, I fell in love with her right away.
Just the way he was with my daughter when I wasn't around. Like no other man would go to my house without me being there and just spend time with my daughter.
One day she was at Sprint. She was looking at a phone, and we were just joking around like, "Oh, if we ever get married, what kind of ring would you like?" And she walked in the K's, and it was right there. It was during the process of her getting her phone. And she was like, "Oh, I really like this one." And I was like, "Well, try it on."
I tried on a million rings.
Yeah. So.
And it's just hard to believe that he remembered the one that I really, really liked.
And I ended up going back 2 weeks later, and the lady was like, "Oh, you're back again," and she pulled out like 4 different rings, and she was like, and I was like, "I think this is the one that she fell in love with as soon as she saw it." So, the lady at K's was pretty impressed that I remembered that as well. So, I picked it out, and I went over, sat down with her dad. I asked her dad for her hand in marriage. He gave me his blessings. Then I went and had the conversation with her mother. She gave me her blessings, and then I just called a couple close family members and friends, and they met at my house, and I told her we were going out to dinner. I think we was running wild that day. I had her with me the entire time. They were at the house getting some things situated, and I just remember just being so nervous. And then
I couldn't tell.
As soon as I got down on one knee, though, everything was just like, this is what I want. So all the nerves went away and everything just flowed. And our daughters were there. The oldest had on "Mommy, Will You," and then the youngest had "Marry Daddy." So yeah, we are engaged. We are we are getting married. Not supposed. We are getting married in May 28th, Memorial Day weekend. We have our rough patches, but it's all about getting through them and sticking with each other. And we are going to have our differences, and things are they're not always going to be easy. But I think above all, we have God first, and then our love second. So I think that's what keeps us going every day.